the sun finds him first, before he even opens his eyes, before he even knows he's awake, really.
It's that physical sensation of coming back on.
Yes, exactly. Warmth moving back into him in the way, like, light moves back into a leaf at dawn. He breathes in, and his body just remembers how to do that.
And then he opens his eyes.
Right. He opens his eyes, feels his small, amber gold, teenage-sized body, and realizes he has hands. He has feet.
It's so grounding.
It is. He's sitting in the dusty light of this forgotten cabin, and the world is just completely, overwhelmingly quiet.
There is no introductory framing here. It is just the absolute purest atmosphere of waking up in a completely new world.
So imagine surviving a crash, landing on a hostile planet. You've just survived this dark, terrifying test of your very first protective dome.
Barely survived it, honestly.
Barely. You are alone in a ruined cabin, holding the revived seed core, which is the single most precious artifact you brought with you. What is your first move?
Do you build a fortress?
Right. Do you bury it deep underground? Well, welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we are going to mentally watch Chapter 2 unfold.
And it is such a quiet, intimate chapter.
We want you to really sit with those quiet feelings, notice the beautiful craft in the writing, and unpack the deep lore hiding in the stillness of this morning.
Because Zaro's first act of survival sets up the central conflict of his entire existence.
He steps outside. He leaves the safety of that protective dome he just managed to create, and he walks out to the impact crater.
The sensory details here are just incredible.
They really are. He kneels in the crater in what the text calls the best earth, which is rich with that golden spark dust.
That volatile cosmic residue from his crash.
Yeah. He makes a space with his hands, places the seed core into the dirt, and tucks the earth around it. And then, and I love this, he presses his palms flat and pushes his warmth into the soil.
And the reaction is immediate.
Yeah.
Gold lines start racing through the dirt like frozen lightning.
It's such a vivid visual.
The threads of light branch out, illuminating all that spark dust buried under the ground. The whole crater blooms into this glowing map for one long second.
And then it just settles as the roots connect.
You can't see them anymore, but you feel that they've anchored.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because from a tactical standpoint, I have to push back a little.
Go for it.
Why plant the most precious thing you have outside your protective dome?
It's a massive risk.
It's like setting up a state-of-the-art security system for your house, but leaving your most valuable safe sitting out on the front lawn. It makes zero defensive sense.
Well, what's fascinating here is the underlying truth of this universe.
Mm-hmm.
If we view Zaro strictly as a soldier or a guard, you're entirely correct.
But he's not just a guard.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
His duty isn't preservation in spaces, it's cultivation. A tree cannot grow on a dry wooden floor inside a dusty cabin.
It needs open earth.
It needs the open earth, and critically, it needs the concentrated spark dust in that impact crater to survive.
And the dome has a fixed default range.
Right, covering just the house. The crater is outside that range.
So it's this inverse law of the dome. To foster life, he has to expose it.
He doesn't have a choice. He chooses vulnerability over stunting the tree's life. He guarantees it a chance to grow, knowing full well it means leaving it outside his shield.
Wow. And the universe tests that vulnerability almost instantly.
Oh, immediately.
Zaro stands up, turns back toward the cabin, and then he just stops.
The watcher at the tree line.
Yes. The quietest, most tense moment of the morning. There's no shape, there's no sound. It is just the heavy, undeniable weight of being watched by something deep in the dark of the trees.
The hairs on the back of his neck know it before his brain does.
And his reaction is fascinating. He doesn't power up, he doesn't shout, he doesn't even turn around to look.
Because turning around means confronting whatever is out there.
Yeah.
It means escalating the situation and asking a question he just isn't ready to answer yet.
So he just stands perfectly still, he lets the feeling go, and walks back to the cabin.
By choosing that restraint, he's acknowledging a boundary. He is respecting the unknown entity's space and implicitly asking it to respect his.
We really just need to pause here and let the silence of that forest hang in the air for you. It's so tense.
It really is.
But then he goes back inside, and the tone shifts entirely from that heavy tension into these quiet, methodical acts of restoration.
The sunlight really changes the mood.
Midday sun is streaming through a missing window pane. Zaro presses his palm against the cold, dry wood of the cabin wall.
He lends it his warmth until the fibers literally remember what they're supposed to do.
The wood tightens up. He touches an old lamp and it comes on, breathing the exact same steady amber color as the seed core.
Now, there is a massive piece of biological lore hiding right in plain sight during all this.
Oh, wait, the part about the work feeling free?
Yes. The text explicitly notes that as Zaro sits in the sunlight, these small restorations feel free.
Because he's solar charging.
Real-time solar charging. He isn't draining his internal battery the way he did the night before when he fought off the darkness.
The sun just offsets his energy outputs.
Completely. And this entirely recontextualizes why a being made of living cosmic light needs to sleep at all.
Oh, wow. Sleep isn't biological for him the way it is for us.
Exactly. It's pure energy conservation.
Yeah.
During the day, the sun pays the toll for his abilities. At night, he's running entirely on stored reserves.
That completely reframes his vulnerability at night.
Oh.
And speaking of building a life during the day, he starts the treasure shelf.
I love the treasure show.
Me too. He finds this flat stone with a white quartz scar running through it, and he just puts it on the shelf.
He doesn't keep it because it has some latent magic.
Right, or because it could be a weapon. He keeps it simply because he chose it. It proves he's building a life, not just defending one.
He wants things to be whole. He's finding value in the mundane beauty of this new planet.
Which perfectly sets up the late afternoon. A doe with a white throat steps out to the edge of the dome.
She lowers her head to eat the grass. She looks right at the cabin, right at Zaro.
And she stays. Zaro remains perfectly still so he won't scare her.
We really have to consider the canonical weight of what's happening here. Zaro is a spark of cosmic energy.
But his physical body is an avatar.
It's a chosen form. He consciously designed himself to be this small, soft, amber gold, teenage-sized shape. He engineered himself to be completely non-threatening.
He chose to be small so he wouldn't terrify anyone he met. And the doe staying to eat is the ultimate validation of that choice.
It proves his shape works. He isn't an alien monster crashing to Earth.
He's just a neighbor in the woods. It brings this profound sense of warmth to the reader.
It's a quiet victory, but that victory is incredibly short-lived.
Yeah, day 2.
Day 2. The reality of his physical limitations catches up with him. Because of the spark dust, the tree is growing at a miraculous rate.
And Zaro realizes it is still out there, completely exposed, so he tries to stretch the dome over the fast-growing tree.
He reaches out, trying to stretch it past the porch, past the clearing, to cover the crater.
And as he reaches, his hands start feeling light. Flecks of amber light begin drifting off his fingers.
His physical form actually starts coming apart.
I mean, so what does this all mean? If he's a being of pure spark, why can't he just push harder and stretch the dome over the tree?
It's the inverse law again. The dome isn't magic. It is bound by physical laws. Think of his core as a high-powered router.
Okay.
And the dome is the signal range. The further you try to stretch that signal, the weaker the connection gets.
But for Zaro, the data packets he's dropping are his actual physical atoms.
Exactly. The energy draw required to cover that much physical space exceeds his solar bandwidth. Expanding the dome dilutes its strength.
So his body tries to supply the missing power by literally unspooling his own physical avatar.
He physically cannot extend the dome without destroying himself in the process.
Wow. So he drops the boundary back to its small size, and he sits down hard.
He has to accept he cannot protect everything.
The emotional weight of that is staggering. He walks out to the tree, which has grown past his shoulder in just 3 days, leans his forehead against the warm bark, and he whispers, "Stay safe."
The quiet heartbreak of that realization.
Just let that sit with you. He has to leave it in the dark.
And that friction between what you desperately want to save and the limits of how you save it is the perfect bridge to the fourth night.
Right, because on the 4th night, a wall that Zaro had restored finally gives out. It collapses with a soft sigh.
Look at the craft of the writing here. He doesn't rage.
He doesn't scream at the sky. He just says, "All right, again."
It reveals this deep, quiet persistence. And that exact same stubborn persistence is echoing 50 miles away.
With Mina, we cut from the dark forest directly to Mina in her world. She's flying her custom-built drone near the edge of the Greenbelt.
And it gets caught in a tree branch.
And the contrast in how they interface with their worlds is brilliant. Zaro operates on warmth and intention. Mina operates on pure data.
When the drone gets stuck, she is instantly running math calculations in her head.
Wind speed, angle, weight distribution. Trying to figure out how to retrieve it without scratching the chassis she hand-soldered.
The math is telling her it's too risky.
But she trusts her instincts instead. She trusts her hands, and she reaches in and pulls it free.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
The anomaly. When she gets the drone back, she downloads the footage.
She finds unusual spectral readings. A gradient of energy deep in the forest that shouldn't
A
exist.
thread of gold in the spectral data. A single frame glint that she absolutely refuses to delete. And she obsesses over it.
For 4 entire days.
She is sitting in her room, nursing a spark of data in the dark, in the exact same way Zaro is nursing that tree in the forest.
They are completely isolated from each other, yet mirroring one another perfectly.
But Mina hits a wall. She needs physical eyes on it, so she texts her friend Kai.
Come over. You want to see this?
Kai's response is immediate. On my way! A few minutes later, he arrives through the kitchen. He doesn't knock.
Her mom knows him.
Yeah, there's no need to explain his presence, and the physical details define him. Solder burns on his thumbs, iron filings in his knuckles.
He's a maker. He
Ah!
processes the environment instinctively through physical interaction.
He walks into Mina's room, fidgeting with the magnet. And without even looking down, he leans over Mina's shoulder and tilts the hinge of her laptop screen.
Just slightly to kill the glare on the monitor.
He solves the physical friction of the glare before Mina even consciously registers it's bothering her.
Which shows he is not a sidekick.
Not at all. And when Mina admits she sat on the data for 4 days to verify it, Kai just sighs. Forgot who I was talking to.
Because Mina is precision. She verifies. Kai is speed. He commits.
They are two halves of an investigative unit. She maps the problem, he builds the solution.
And as Kai leaves to get his gear, he pockets the magnet.
But he also grabs an empty glass vial off her desk and pockets that too. Why does he take the vial?
It's perfect character foreshadowing. Mina asks what it's for, and he says, in case there's something to put in it.
His hands are always carrying tools.
He expects the world to provide materials. He doesn't know what they're going to find, but his instinct is to be prepared to capture or contain it.
It's an incredibly pragmatic worldview, especially since they're about to walk into an encounter with a cosmic being.
So Kai leaves. The kitchen door opens and closes.
And the room suddenly feels too quiet. The air feels a little emptier without him.
And then, breaking that silence, Mina's mother calls out from downstairs, "Mina! Lunch!"
It is such a profoundly grounding moment to end the chapter on. Mina pauses at the door. She looks back at the laptop screen at that glowing spectral data.
The mystery of the Greenbelt is pulling at her.
But she thinks, tomorrow! She saves the file, closes the laptop halfway, and heads downstairs to eat lunch.
A loving household, a normal life.
Contrast that with Zaro settling into the dark forest night. Totally alone, whispering to a tree he can't fully protect.
The isolation versus the connectivity, it's jarring.
It really is, and it leaves you with a lot to mull over.
It raises an important question. We've seen Zaro's core flaw. His good intentions make him vulnerable to beautiful things.
He exposes what he should be guarding.
Exactly. And Mina's core flaw is her desperate need to map and control everything before she trusts it.
So what happens to their isolated worlds when these two entirely opposite ways of surviving finally collide?
That friction is going to dictate everything.
It's going to be incredible to watch. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your eyes open for the sparks in the dark.